Speaker for the day is Mr. Dipesh Tang, a social activist and a crusader against the railway rowdies. I kindly request you, sir, to take charge.
Alright, thank you very much for inviting me, sir. And you have a beautiful campus, guys, like unbelievable. I think there are very few lucky students who get a campus like what I've seen today. So I'm sure you don't have the poison of Bombay or Delhi or any of that. Like, it's amazing to be here. But I just want to add into what Yash said, and it's so important that hello. Yeah. It's so important to make sure that the kind of skill or kind of talent that you think you have is to explore it and to do things with that. And I just want to share a quick small story before I get into my real talk that I'm invited here for. As a child, I was studying in a tuition after my school, and I was not very good at maths, and my teacher hated me for that. So every time she used to feel that I've not done the job right or have not done work properly, she used to pull my cheek like really hard, so hard that it used to really bother me. And I'm like, how do I resist that? How do I resist that kind of cheek pulling thing that my teacher is doing on? So I used to vacuum it, okay? So I used to vacuum it, and every time she used to try to still pull it, and she's like, okay, you're doing that, I'm gonna do it much harder. So it used to come out with like a really funny sound. So I didn't realize then, and I'm like, whatever. Until 6-7 years back, I started working for a radio station, and we were short of content on our show. And because we were short of content on our show, so my friend like, can you do something? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do something. So like, can you try? We need something on the slot. So I immediately thought about that. I'm like, what can I do? I do this some stupid noise, and I don't know if it's going to make sense. So she's like, can you show it to me? So this is what I did, and please don't hate me or throw paper balls at me. But yeah, this is what I do, like. Every evening that made me a little bit of famous. But thank you, man. It was really nice to hear you talk. Okay, we're going to start off with some videos to be played. Yash has already set up the bar really high, and my talk is not going to be as entertaining, but yeah, we'll try to see what happens, okay? So I'm going to place a few videos for you guys to make you understand the current state of affairs in our country, and for us to understand where we stand as a society. And my intention is not to discourage anybody, but to see how we can take this thing further and make it better for everybody to live. So this particular video is shot at Car Station, and me and some of my friends are standing there. You see those boys, right? This is what they did, and if you look closer, one of them was peeing outside from the train. And I'm born and brought up in Mumbai city, and I've never seen something so ridiculous and disrespecting to women. Okay. See that there are a lot of young children going to school. Can you just see this? Isn't that working, guys? So these are some students from a local school in Shivli. Like such an amazing energy, but such a waste, he can just die, and the entire energy of their parents, the government spending millions of rupees on us has just gone down the drain. So this is what I'm here for. My name is Dipesh Tang, and I'm here to talk to you about the initiative that I started in 2030 called War Against Railway Rowdies. The primary objective of this initiative was to stop men who think they are above law and they can harass any woman standing at the railway station. In 2013, few friends, we were traveling in Chandni Road in Mumbai local trains, and I saw these men who were standing inside the train, and they had like long roses with them for some reason. I don't know why roses, and they were hitting every woman who was standing on the platform. And that really made me feel really ashamed. I'm like, this is not the way things work. Nobody deserves to outrage a woman's modesty. And the only thing I could see is women standing there and looking down. And it made me feel really ashamed. I'm like, what am I doing there, watching these guys doing it? I tried to call the cops, and by the time I reached out to these guys, they ran away. But it really bothered me that night. I went to the cops next day. I went and spoke to the local police station, and I told them that Railway has a different police station. They don't work in the city police. So I tried to convince this gentleman who was there as a senior police inspector. And so this is the kind of thing that is happening, and I know that you may have heard this before, but I wish I had the video to show you. To which he said, like, you take one policeman with you, we'll try and catch these guys. So next day I was there with that one constable, and to my surprise, I found out there were more than 5 to 10 such groups who were doing and indulging in such activities. And the crime was simple as they were harassing women from the train. The moment they passed through the women compartment of the platform, they were harassing these girls and women who were standing on the platform. And it was totally unaccepted. And I, as a citizen of this beautiful country, this society, I decided to take a charge on this and to stop them by going to the policeman again and saying that, sir, you can't just fix this problem by catching one or two person and making an example out of it. I mean, the need is to tap the mindset. The mindset is that nobody can catch me, because they are so coward that they will do this act when the train is entering the railway station. They won't do this when the train is moving out of the railway station. And that is the problem. And this is exactly why you see people don't break signals, because you are supposed to not supposed to be breaking signals and jumping the red light. But you break it, you don't break it because there's a cop standing there. But if it's not there, then most of the people I know in my friend circle, they break the signal. So we have to incite that fear of, like, I can get caught at the next station. So I told this policeman that, sir, I think the problem is that we need to catch them red-handed, real time, especially when they know they're not going to get caught. So it took me 6 months to convince police to do a joint operation at Goregaon and Malad. So we had installed spy cameras, we had installed Skype Live, where we were catching it from Malad station and we were relaying it at Goregaon. And we had like some 40 men. These 40 men were, 40 policemen were waiting there, and they were watching the video feed, and there were some of them were visually also confirming. That day we caught about some 15 sexual harassers who were harassing women. And we set up an example to spread that fear, because they thought they could not get caught at the next station. Now the story starts from here, because that thing didn't stop until 1 month, and everything started again. I went to the cops again, and I'm like, sir, this thing has started again, and can we do again the same joint raid? He's like, dude, like, you can't keep coming here every time and keep telling me to do these joint operations. We are already short of manpower and blah, blah, blah. And a typical, very government employee behavior. So I'm like, maybe they need to know things in a little different way and see what women think about this. So with some few friends, female friends, I started conducting a survey to ask them about like set of 15 questions that will be an eye-opener. And the questions were based on whether they feel safe standing at the platform, whether they don't feel safe, do they feel somebody will harass them, what all do they feel? And you'll be surprised, more than 85% of the women standing at the platform feel insecure and they fear, they're scared. But they can't stop going to the platform because they go to work, right? And 70 years then, after independence, if this is what an average woman feels in our country, then it's a tight slap on our face. And a democracy that we're living in. So I sent those surveys to then Prime Minister, then President, then Chief Minister, then Railway Commissioners of Railways and GRP and RPF, because Railways divided into two police forces. One is Government Railway Police and the Central Police Force. And that thing didn't do any impact. So I'm like, I don't care about these guys, whether they want to do it or not. I'm going to keep doing it as in when I find somebody. This was a promise I gave to Nirbhaya when in 2012 the Nirbhaya gang rape happened. And a lot of people said a lot of things, but for me, I felt ashamed to be a man when I heard such a terrible, heinous crime against women living in our country. And I said, like, I will not let any sexual harasser or abuser or any kind of person who is violating a woman's modesty or physical being violent with her, even if that person is her husband or a boyfriend, I will go and stop it, even if that guy is twice the size of me. And that initiative started since 2013, where I started standing on the platform, on the railway compartment, the footboard, where the moment train moves out of the station, I will try and catch these guys at the next station by calling the police on the railway line. There are a lot of hurdles because initially it was difficult because the police don't know where to come, I don't know where to come. Because if I tell them I'm in the middle compartment, so they're like, where do you come? Where do I come? Because it was difficult. So initially then I realized that you need to get the train timing and you have to tell them the exact thing. Sometimes they're not there, sometimes they're there. And it became so much that the cops started questioning me. That it was like, you come to me saying that these guys have harassed women, but what proof do you have? And probably he was fair in asking, like, how do I suddenly say that this gentleman or this man or this boy harassed some girls? So I started taking video recording of that. So you can imagine, I was like in 9 o'clock. I don't know how many of you have traveled in Mumbai local trains, I'm sure most of you, but it's very difficult when you travel from north to south. Okay? And 9 o'clock in the peak hour, it is really, really hard to get in from the station that I live in. So I used to have a bag, I used to have a phone, and I used to start recording from every platform that I used to pass. And it became so difficult because, in that rush, either you stand, you take care of your bag, or the phone that you sold your kidney for. So it was very, very difficult for me to manage that side, And I'm like, I don't want to die like this. Really, like, there is a better way to die, and this is not the way to die, by getting hit by a pole, recording these harassers. So I Googled and I found out there are a lot of spy cameras and stuff, but there was nothing which I could find that could give me a little bit of mobility. So I'm like, can you have, I was looking for there's a cab cameras or something, and then there was this one company in US called the Pivot Head, and they, for the first time to bring in competition with GoPro, they came up with this camera. It's a sports camera which I converted into a spy camera where it's in my sunglasses. Okay, so every time I used to travel, I used to wear these glasses and I used to go. So nobody would know it, Even the guys next to me had no clue about what am I doing with them. This was so cool for me, and it saved my life, I would say. And the least this company does not even know what I'm using these glasses for. That's the most funniest part, So it was so easy because every time there was this so-called not so harasser or a sexual harasser looking guy used to do this, I used to show the police the video footages of that. And it became so evident, Because I can't record it, it's not legal to record on the railways, but then they were allowing me because I was doing the job of the police. And I got pretty good support from the local policemen every time I called them. So till today, I've got about 160 harassers who have been harassing women in other local places. But I will give credit to the police also. Unfortunately, none of them have been booked under IPC section because most of the women whose harassers or sexual harassers I've caught, they don't even know that the guy who harassed them has been caught at the next station. So you need to have a female complainant to stand up and say that, hey, this guy did this to me and hence you please book him. So they used to get booked under smaller sections like nuisance of 110, which is like you get paid like 1,200 rupees with some 6 to 10 bashings from the police depending upon who you are and what kind of language you speak. So, but that was a huge deterrent, There was a sense of fear, and that initiative is still going on. So, thankfully, it has gone down to that level that I don't see that in my Western line. And I saw recently that RPF started doing patrolling with spy cameras on their jacket. So it made me feel really nice. I'm like, it's okay, you don't give credit, but at least you use good ideas for good social use. But guys, I want to also sit here and talk to you about a little bit in depth. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't like doing this work. I'll be very honest. Who wants to get out of every day from your house and have fights with people who you don't even know and get into that scuffle? And like, you know, it's not beautiful all the time. Sometimes you get whacked and really, really hard. So much that, you know, I was foolish to do that in the train, and because it used to boil my blood, and I used to catch that guy and put him down in the train, and he used to push, and I'm like, gosh, you can't do this in the train. What if one of you guys fall down and die? You know? So, but I mean, kept me into a deep conversation about like, why does this happen? Why is this crime against women? Why are we doing this? What is it about harassing women, and what joy do you get? So I was reading this one article, and probably this is like the biggest monster of our time, guys. And that monster is conditioning. You know, tell me, how many times have you guys gone to a girl child at the age of 4? It's a birthday party, okay? Can I hear some gifts that you would buy for her? Like, what would you buy for her? Frock? Doll, Barbie doll, pink color, right? Teddy bears, right? Okay, chocolates, right? And I'm gonna take you, now another scenario is that if you go to a boy birthday party, he's like around 5-year-old, what would you buy for him? Cars, right? Cricket bats, masculine stuff, right? Stuff that is like, wow, that wage a war, right? Why not a girl would like to play with a gun? You know? Why wouldn't a boy like to play with a Barbie doll? I still like to play with a Barbie doll if I had a choice. The point is, this is what we're doing it since childhood. We are creating the divide. तू क्या लड़की है, रो रहा है? तूने चूड़ियां पहन के रखी है? These statements are more harmful than Pakistan and China that has been created. We are creating this divide in our country, in our society since childhood. We are telling a child a girl is weak and a boy is stronger. All the masculine work has to go to the boy, and all the easy going work has to go to the girl. You want to go and buy something from outside? Send your brother. You want to do something in the house? Tell your sister. This is a problem. We are living in a country where a train full of 200 people can't even stand up to these two guys and say that, hey, you know what you're doing is wrong. Don't do this. This is the society that we're living in, and we need to stop this mindset, you know. I'm sorry if there are movies like Kabir Singh make a lot of money. We are failed as a society. We can't live in a society where there are people like, you can drive a car drunk and get kill innocent people on the street and go and beat up women, and then still you can make profit of 300 crore to such heroes. Is this what we are? I don't know, guys. I don't understand this. But for me, it bothers me as a human being who's living, who's responsible to this beautiful country, this beautiful motherland called India. 15th August, 26th Jan, we are so proud of our country. We wear a national flag. We say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and the same Bharat Mata gets molested and harassed. Nobody wants to stand up and say that, boss, this could be my sister, this could be my wife, this could be my mother. Nobody. Loving your country does not mean abusing a community or a religion or a country, my friends. Don't ever fall into that trap. Loving your country means fixing the problem of your country. Pick up a problem, solve it. You are a true patriot. You cannot love your country by saying Pakistan something and you hate a country and prove your patriotism that way. And we are here, we all love our country, right? But how many times, this is the whole misconception that has been built up, like, if you're a patriot, you can't do this. If you're a patriot, you can only wear a national flag and scream, and the next day everything is back to hunky-dory, like the way it was. Just 2 days back, sir, my friend got sexually harassed in the train. And there were like so many men standing in the first class compartment, but nobody helped her out. And she's like, this is the biggest mistake that I did by getting into a male, so-called male, because first class is not designed only for a male commuters. It is for everybody. But since we have decided that, she's like, I could not get into the ladies' compartment. I tried getting into that, hoping that there will be gentlemen's, but no. Yesterday she filed an FIR because I had to prep her. I had to tell her, like, no, if you don't do that, you can't change this country. And this is for all the women sitting here as much as all the men, that freedom was never easy. Our great freedom fighters, they fought for this country is not because that they could see what's happening today. You know, and it's never going to be easy. Yes, there will be fights. Yes, there will be injuries. Yes, there will be fatal injuries. But we have to fight. Every time you look at a man who's looking at you wrongly or trying to abuse you, sexually harass you, and you be quiet because your parents won't support you, that's wrong. Don't do that. Stand up and fight. It is important to fight. And that's what I'm here for. For me, this opportunity, I get very conscious when I speak to people on platforms, and I get really worried, but I feel this is an opportunity for me to say that, hey, you know what, if one of you can change this thing in your heart, like say that, take responsibility of a country and a society, I think I've had it, like, you know, I'll be at peace. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much for patiently hearing me.